what is the difference between racism and trolling? Like, how is using the N-word not racism?
If you want to use the N-word in a non-racist way, it'll be more of it'll be. I mean, you can't really. That's really hard to not use racist, but it's more if you want to insult their mental, like not I mean the personality, because there's a thing that I kind of agree with that I've heard. Being an N-word person, it's not the color of your skin, it's a mentality. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if what your skin tone color is. It's how you think. Now it's awful saying that, but it actually makes sense to me in a way. Rude, very racist themselves. Just don't like anybody in a way where they'll insult them just for their race or their religion or that kind of stuff. It's just that kind of mindset where their whole personality is just being hateful.
Let me see if I understand this. Using the N-word is a way to say that somebody is being hateful and ignorant and stereotyping and black and white.
Yes, it's an extreme use of the. I've seen it more. It's like an extreme use of the word. Like instead of saying something like bigot or homophobe or something like that, it's a very harsh, firm word to describe somebody of that caliber.
And
Now, I'll
so,
never use that word publicly in that way, but it's something that I personally believe and keep as like a mental note.
I wonder if we could compare this to something like a slur towards somebody who's gay, like the F word. I just wonder about, like, even if you don't know the person's skin color, but maybe they are black or they are gay and they have their own internalized biases and they are in black and white thinking because of the history of the N word and because of maybe even how you might be perceived as white or white passing by some people.
Yeah,
Do you see that as a type of racism to use that word when it's been clearly stated that that word was used to abuse and demean and degrade and justify horrific violence, abuse, and torture and death of black people?
oh no, no, it's still racist. Of course, it is very much racist. Like I said, it's more of a thing I keep like on the back burner, kind of like to describe somebody of that mindset. Like I would never call them that. It's just a word that I have as a marker, an extreme word. It's something that I use to describe an extreme person of
Yeah.
of what they do.
Why not call them bigot? Because it sounds to me like you're talking about bigotry.
Well, there is being a bigot.
Mm.
There is that. But the word bigot has been used in so many ways in the recent years.
Mm.
Misrepresented, misworded,
Mm.
misdescribed, all that it's lost its meaning.
So it feels more
But the other,
violent to use the N word.
yes, it's a word that kept it, like basically keeps its meaning.
It's a
The other
mind
word, bigot, tends
virus.
to.
Do you ever think that perpetuating that word, even that person, in that person, even if they are being profoundly bigoted, that it actually is normalizing using that word and planting a seed in them where they're going to weaponize that word, possibly towards someone who is just in a dark skinned avatar in here? Basically, when we use words, we program each other's brains that there's a normalcy to that. And even if you're using it almost as a dominance thing of saying you are bad, you are harmful, right? To somebody. That's kind of what's behind it. I'm calling you the worst, most powerful thing I can say to get your attention and maybe even break you, crack you, make you stop, right? But that
Yeah.
word is now like a seed in their mind, and in the more fragmented state that they might be, they might go to a different instance or whatever else and see somebody in a dark skinned avatar and just like descend on them and put that word on them.
Well, that's why whenever I do that sort of definition,
Mm-hmm.
I would never call somebody that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like opening up it's kind of like having a personal notebook where I just mark that person down. I would still refer to them as a bigot or
Yeah.
whatever else, but
Yeah.
it's like a sticky note, a notebook, just saying, "Hey, this person acted like this,
Yeah.
so
And so
now they
for
are marked as
you,
this for me."
yeah, for you, it's an extreme flag of like almost Voldemort level. They who shall not be named, they are unworthy of any further attention. They are in my like ultimate exile list.
Pretty much.
But like, is it possible that that word being inside of you, being used that way, is a type of internalized racism that it got planted in you and that became the way for you to classify people, that it's just, it's using it maybe not towards people who are black and maybe not overtly towards them, but it's still a type of using a word that if you identify as white or white passing, you don't necessarily have that license. There's a social rule that says white people do not use that word. And so I'm just
Yeah.
curious if you've ever thought about it like, this is a placeholder word for me that maybe I don't say out loud, but I did. And this is a type of systemic racism that has planted inside of me that maybe I have a different word for, that doesn't even mean that I'm using that word that way inside of me. Have you ever thought about that?
I mean, now that you say it like that, I would say yes, actually.
Okay.
Now that you hearing that out in the open,
You're like, wait, uh oh. There's a virus in
yeah,
me. I need a new word.
yeah, hearing
Okay.
it said out loud is like a totally different
Yeah, I gotcha. No, and
realization.
thank you. Like, that's so freaking honest. And I really do think, as we just talked about, that word has a virus in it, right? That word was used to justify and demean an entire group of people according to the color of their skin and their facial features. Like, it it's one of the most toxic words in the human language, right? So
Yes.
so it feels a little bit like the meme culture machine in here has just taken that word and given it a vibration and taken off that history and just been like, here's a classification. But then when we talk it through and we really identify, like, how did that word get inside of you? It is a virus in you also. And now maybe you have a chance to say, I need to replace that word. I know what it's supposed to mean for me, but that's not the meaning of that word. And just in case I ever get pushed to the place where I would use this word out of like, hey, stop, evil person, I don't want that word to come out of me. I want a different word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. That really helps me understand it. And thank you for letting me push here a little bit. I'm just so curious and you have so much insight and I just wanted to see if that made sense to you. So